另外一个和平的橄榄枝讯息是来自于叙利亚的化学武器的争执。9月27号，联合国的安理会通过了一项由俄国主导的指标性的决议。那么这个指标性的决议呢，就包括叙利亚同意要销毁化学武器，而俄国将派观察员协助叙利亚。那么这可以说是过去这一段时间叙利亚的化武议题不断的在国际交锋以来，可以说是告了一个段落。而在这场外交战里头，奥巴马决定撒手，让俄国全力的主导。另外一个画面，这个画面呢是叙利亚的总统阿塞德，他在前一阵子为了要让美国人了解你们所指控的许许多多的事情跟你们很多的偏见，即使是最优秀的记者 Charlie Rose 专访他的时候 ，Charlie Rose 直指他是屠夫，而阿塞德不断的在许多事情里一项一项反驳他，阿塞德显得有备而来。那么这一次呢，他是直接的因为联合国召开会议的关系，接受了全美国可能最受重视、地位特别高的主持人 Charlie Rose 的专访。他在知识分子界的这个地位呢是特别的高。那么 Charlie Rose 专访他的时候呢，几乎大多数的人以为阿塞德会被问倒，结果多数观看的人的看法刚好相反，就 Charlie Rose 本身有着太多原来美国新闻界的偏见，以至于几乎一项一项全被阿塞德反驳成功。而在这些舆论战里头呢，俄罗斯跟叙利亚显然占了上风，最终在安理会包括联合国的各项决议里头，奥巴马决定停止他原来要攻打叙利亚的所有的战争的准备，在这个时刻为所有的可能战争画下了句点。
联合国公布叙利亚化学武器攻击事件报告，以明确且具说服力的证据显示，8月21号叙利亚境内曾有携带沙林毒气的地对地火箭发射到反抗军盘踞的大马士革郊区。联合国秘书长潘基文谴责，这是自1988年伊拉克前总统海珊毒害平民数千人以来最重大的化武攻击。
The findings are beyond doubt and beyond the pale. This is a war crime.
报告并且列出2次火箭袭击飞行轨迹的定位方向，显示发射地点为政府精锐部队位于大马士革卡西翁山的阵地。伊美双方表示，这有力地证实了外界的怀疑。
Details of the UN report make clear that only the regime could have carried out this large-scale chemical weapons attack.
This was no cottage industry use of chemical weapons. There is no remaining doubt that it was the regime that used chemical weapons.
俄罗斯和美国14号达成一项销毁叙利亚化学武器的计划，叙利亚必须在1周内公开自己的化学武器储备，并且在2014年中以前销毁这些武器。美国福斯新闻网18号播出专访叙利亚总统阿塞德的内容，他明白指出，叙利亚拥有化武不是秘密，但销毁化武非常复杂。
As I said, it needs a lot of money. It needs about $1 billion. It's very detrimental to the environment. If the American administration is ready to pay those money and to take the responsibility of bringing toxic materials to the United States, why don't they do it?
The experts say that they've tracked nothing like this. It's a ton of sarin gas. It is launchers. It is rockets. It's a whole fleet, which happen to be, from time to time, those kinds of armaments, those kind of munitions happen to be in your bases.
No. This is realistically cannot be possible. You cannot use the sarin beside your troops. This is first. Second, you don't use WMD while you're advancing. You're not being defeated. You're not retreating. The whole situation was in favor of the army. This is second. Third, we didn't use it when we had bigger problems last year. Definitely, so far as government, we have evidence that the terrorist groups have used sarin gas, and those evidence handed over to the Russians. In one word, we didn't use any chemical weapons in the Ghouta, because if you want to use it, you would harm your troops, you would have harmed the tens of thousands of civilians living in Damascus.
阿塞德近来展开国际宣传战，密集出现在美国媒体。不久前，他也接受美国公共电视台 PBS 资深新闻节目主持人 Charlie Rose 的访问，实问实答，攻防火花激烈。
That you said, I've seen what happened in Libya. I've seen what happened in Tunisia. I've seen what happened in Egypt.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen to Bashar al-Assad. I will fight anybody who tries to overthrow my regime with everything I have.
If I don't have the public support, whether there's what's the so-called Arab Spring, it's not spring anyway, but whether we have this or we don't, if you don't have public support, you have to quit. You have to leave. If you have public support in any circumstances, you have to stay. That's your mission. You have to help the people. You have to serve the people. I never said... Yeah, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
When you say public support, people will point to Syria and they say a minority sect, Alawites, control a majority Sunni population. And it's a dictatorship, and they do it because of force of their own instruments of power. That's what you have, not public support for this war against
now it's been
other Syrians.
Now it's been 2 years and a half, okay? 2 years and a half, and Syria is still withstanding against the United States, the West, Saudi Arabia, the richest country in this area, including Turkey. And taking into consideration what your question implies, that even the big part or the bigger part of the Syrian population against me, how can I withstand till today? I'm either superhuman or Superman, which is not the case.
Or you have a powerful army.
The army made of the people. It cannot be made of robots.
The president has gotten significant criticism because he has not supported the rebels more. So the president has not given enough support to the rebels in the view of many people. And there's criticism that when he made a recent decision to give support, it has not gotten to the rebels because they worry about the composition.
If the American administration wanted to support Al-Qaeda, go ahead. That's what we have to tell them. Go ahead and support Al-Qaeda. But don't talk about rebels and Free Syrian Army and so on. The majority of fighters now are Al-Qaeda. If you want to support them, you are supporting Al-Qaeda.
With respect, sir, you say that the rebels only survive because they have support from Saudi Arabia and Turkey and the United States and Qatar, perhaps.
The difference...
And I'm saying that they say you only survive because you have the support of Russia and Iran and Hezbollah.
The external support can never substitute internal support. Can never. For sure. And the example that you have to look at very well, Egypt and Tunisia. They have all the support from the West and from the Gulf and from most of the countries in the world. When they don't have support within their country, they couldn't continue more than how many weeks? 3 weeks.
1982年2月，叙利亚军队在总统哈菲兹·阿塞德，也就是现任总统阿塞德的父亲的命令下，为镇压逊尼派伊斯兰分子的反政府运动，对哈马地区焦土屠城，数万平民，包括妇孺，在睡梦中遭无情杀害肢解。
You and I have talked about this before, and we remember Hama and your father, Hafez al-Assad. He ruthlessly set out to eliminate the Muslim Brotherhood. Are you simply being your father's son here?
I don't know what you mean by ruthlessly. Because
you know what happened at Hama?
I've never heard the war, a soft war. Have you heard about soft war? There's no soft war. War is a war. Any war is ruthless. And when you fight terrorists, you fight them like any other war.
It is said that what your father did at Hama influenced you greatly in terms of your understanding of what you have to do.
The question, what would you do as American if the terrorists invading your country from different areas and started killing tens of thousands of Americans?
You keep saying he's a terrorist, but in fact it is a popular revolution, people believe, against you that was part of the Arab Spring that influenced so many other countries.
Revolution should be Syrian, cannot be revolution imported from abroad.
But it didn't start from abroad, it started here.
Yeah, those people that started here, they support the government now against those rebels. That's what you don't know. You don't know as an American, you don't know as a reporter. That's why talking about what happened at the very beginning is completely different from what's happening now. It's not the same. There's very high dynamic things are changing on daily basis. So it's completely different image. Those people, though, who wanted revolution, they are cooperating with us.
I'm asking you again, is it in fact you being your father's son and you believe that the only way to drive out people is to eliminate them the same way your father did?
In being independent, yes. In fighting terrorism, yes. In defending the Syrian people and the country, yes.
But now they say, their words, a butcher. Comparisons to the worst dictators ever to walk on the face of the earth, comparing you to them. Using weapons that go beyond warfare. Everything they could say bad about a dictator, they're now saying about you.
First of all, when you have a doctor who cut the leg to prevent the patient from the gangrene, if you have to, we don't call him butcher, we call him a doctor. And we thank him for saving the lives. When you have terrorism, you have war. When you have war, you always have innocent lives that could be the victim.
But you can't allow the idea that there is opposition to your government from within Syria. That is not possible for you to imagine.
To imagine that we have opposition?
Yes.
We have it, and you can go and meet with them. We have some of them within the government, we have some of them outside the government. They are opposition. We have it.
But those are the people who've been fighting against you.
Opposition is different from terrorism. Opposition is a political movement. Opposition doesn't mean to take armament and kill people and destroy everything. It's opposition, opposing country or government by beheading, by barbecuing head, by eating the hearts of your victim. Is that opposition? What do you call the people who attacked the 2011th of September? Opposition? Even if they're not American, I know this. But some of them, they have, I think, nationality. I think one of them has American nationality. Do you call him opposition or terrorist? Why should you use a term in the United States and England and maybe other countries and use another term in Syria? This is double standard that we don't accept.